Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be changing the engine oil, transmission oil, drive shaft oil, and rear drive oil in my personal 1972 R75/5. Now, this particular R75 has kind of been my daily rider for quite some time now. I drive it to work all the time, starts first kick, super solid, super reliable, runs like an absolute top. And I kind of had the idea of maybe trying to throw it up on Bring a Trailer, but anyway, if you might be interested in purchasing this, shoot me an email. I'll have my email in the description. So pretty much everything we're gonna need in order to complete this is an 8mm Allen, a 17mm wrench, and a 19mm wrench. So this right here is an 8mm Allen for the engine drain. Right up here, right there, is a 19mm for the transmission drain, right there. And then coming around over here, we have an 8mm for the rear drive fill, a 19mm for the rear drive drain, and then a 17mm for the drive shaft, fill, and drive shaft drain. And then right into the same pan, we can drain our transmission oil with a 19mm wrench. And then we can loosen up our rear drive drain with a 19mm. And then undoing the oil filter, this is just a 17mm nut under that cover. So now underneath here is your oil filter, and I'm just gonna use a little pick tool to kind of get in there and just pull the oil filter out, and then we'll just come straight out with it. We can then insert a new oil filter in here. There's no particular orientation for this. It's the exact same on both sides. There's a couple different styles of oil filter setups here. Some of them use a white O-ring. Others have just this kind of straight through design. Others, don't have this little cover thing here. But for the most part, it's all going to be the same. Just be extra cautious about if you have an oil cooler or not. And then reinstall this cover here with a new gasket on it. So then we're actually going to be upgrading our fill plugs. The only reason I'm doing this is because these ones are brand new, nice and shiny, and also magnetic. So these have magnets. So all of our drains are going to have magnets and be nice and shiny, as opposed to our old ones. We're all rusty and kind of in bad condition. I'm going to start by installing the drain plug for the engine oil. So we're going to install our new magnetic drain plug down here. We can then reinstall our transmission drain with a new magnetic plug, and I will have all of these plugs linked below. And then we'll reinstall our rear drive drain with a new magnetic plug, and our drive shaft right here with a new plug as well. We can now put oil in our engine. This engine, along with like pretty much every other Airhead in existence, is going to take between 2 and 3 quarts. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Subscribing to my channel is free, and make sure to hit the notification bell so you're notified every time a new how-to video comes out, so you can stay up to date. And I do how-to videos on legitimately all BMW makes and models. So if you got like a K1600 or something totally different than this at home, I will still be an asset to you. And if you're feeling generous, please consider joining my channel. Joining my channel costs as little as $2 a month, and if you join at the platinum level, you will then get kind of exclusive access to me as to kind of pick my brain, ask me questions, and I'll kind of walk you through things at home. Let's check the engine oil again. So again, we're just gonna put the dipstick down there, not thread it in, just kind of set it on the first thread and then pull it out. And if you look right there, we are right at that, right there, perfect at the max line. So we're gonna leave it right there, and then we'll check our engine again after we take it for a little bit of a ride to get it up to operating temp. We can now fill our transmission with oil. So the transmission is kind of like a fill to spill, I would say. So what we're gonna do is we're literally just gonna do exactly that. We're gonna fill it up until it kind of spills out of there. So we're gonna put roughly an entire quart or a liter, depending on where you're from, of gear oil. I use 75W90 synthetic gear oil, and then just 20W50 conventional oil in the engine. So we're just gonna fill this all the way up until it can no longer accept any more oil, more or less, and it'll start kind of draining out of here, and we're just gonna let it level off, and then we'll go ahead and put our plug back in. The same grade oil that we used in the transmission, we're gonna use in the rear drive and drive shaft. And once the rear drive can't accept any more oil, we're gonna reinstall our rear drive fill bolt. We can then add 150 cc's of oil to our drive shaft. And our drive shaft fill is right there. Then we can reinstall our drive shaft oil fill bolt with a 17mm wrench. Thank you so much for watching, and like I mentioned earlier, this is kind of one of my personal bikes that I'm kind of tossing the idea around of listing on Bring a Trailer or selling it to one of you guys. So if you're interested, this is a pretty much all original R75/5. Everything functions on it. It has 22,000 miles, and honestly, it's like a super good running example of what an R75 should be like. So if you're interested, shoot me an email. I'll have those details below, and then I'll also have everything used in this video linked below from the BMWpartsguy.com. Thank you very much, and as always, have a safe ride.